Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this month's edition of Cat Chat. I'm your co-host, Jenna Linasars, and I am joined today by a very special co-host. Chris is out this month, but I have our executive producer of Cat Chat. This is Dr. Ron Gordon.
Thank you, Jenna. Ron's fine, but thank you very much.
Ron is thrilled to be here, everyone.
I am excited to be here. This is Chris's seat, and he'll be back soon, hopefully. But yes, I'm excited to be here.
I have to brag on Ron just for a hot second because, like I said, Ron is our executive producer. Ron was really like the brains behind let's get Cat Chat going. I think this needs to happen in our district. So I really just have to brag on you for a second for making all of this possible and consider this your celebration.
Well, I thank you, Jenna. But as we all know, the stars of this Cat Chat podcast is Chris and Jenna. So I appreciate the work that you two do and the excitement you bring for the district and for all of our guests. So thank you very much, though.
Well, thank you. I hope Chris trained you well for this seat.
We're going to find out because he left me this for our high five. So we'll see exactly how this all works out.
Oh, Lord. Well, let's go ahead and get into this month's high five highlights. Y'all know the deal. We've done it 2 times now. If you send me this month's high five highlights in an Instagram direct message, you're going to win a cat swag bag. And you all want this cat swag bag.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I think our previous winners are really excited about when they got their,
thrilled.
their bags. They couldn't wait.
Thrilled.
Couldn't wait.
Last month's winner was Leanne Yancey.
Leanne Yancey, yes.
And she got hers right before Christmas. So she was really thrilled to get this. So if you guys send me all 5, you can maybe have one too. So let's get right into it.
Let's go.
Okay. So this month, I want to shout out Warder Park Wayne Elementary for hosting an after-school cooking class as a reward for students who are exhibiting good behavior. And this is really cool because they're showing the kids how to cook just really simple meals, right? So you would actually be surprised how many kids just straight up don't know how to cook like a grilled cheese or spaghetti and a lot of things like that. So the kids are able to go in after school. A lot of the equipment and a lot of the food has been donated by some community partners.
Oh, wonderful.
If you follow Clark County Food Fiends on Facebook,
Yep.
They've helped out with a lot of that. So the kids are able to learn how to make this stuff and then take that home and make those meals at home for their families, which is awesome.
That is incredible because one of the first things I remember making in, I'll show you how old I am, home ec class when I was at South High School was a grilled cheese sandwich. So it's exciting to hear that they're making it there. So high five.
High five, Warder Park.
High five, Warder Park. Congratulations.
Love it.
Our next high five goes out to the Shoes for the Shoeless. For those who are not familiar with this program, they provide shoes for the students in elementary school throughout our district and also in the area. There's not just within the Springfield City School District, but Dr. Ashley Wilson is the leader of that for our district. So I'm really excited that the work that she puts in. I've had the opportunity to be able to participate a couple times in the events there. So everyone seems to have a great time working with our students and being able to see the excitement they have on their faces when they get their brand new shoes there. So it's a wonderful program. So keep an eye out for that for opportunities to either volunteer or to donate to give money to that program.
Yes, and Ashley and Shoes for the Shoeless really prioritize making sure that all of our elementary schools are really taken care of before the first snow of the season, so that all of our kids who are in need of new shoes get those new shoes before that first snow happens in case, the kids are walking to school and, just so they're not walking on shoes that are in need of repair or things like that. So, that's always a priority. So shout out to our Student Services Department, Dr. Ashley Wilson, and Shoes for the Shoeless.
So they get the high five.
High five.
All right.
You're getting pretty good with that clapper.
Well, I watched Chris a couple times, so it's I'm learning.
It looks more stable than it did
I think
last
it was just the way he was just doing it. Yeah, I watched him, so I'm doing it correctly. So no offense, Chris.
No shade, Chris.
This is how you do it.
No shade, Chris. All right, my next shout out, I really think this has to go to our Strategic Initiatives Department. and really kind of our district as a whole of what's to come. This is the time of year that construction is really going to ramp up on our school-based health center over at Springfield High School. So this is going to be a really exciting thing for our district as a whole, as we work to really provide holistic care for all of the students in our district, our families, and really Springfield residents.
This is really exciting to see. I know the groundbreaking has already taken place. There's, I believe, some concrete laid down. There's going to be some additional items happening between now and the spring. So, yeah, our families, in particular our students, but like you said, Jenna, the community will be able to see the benefits of this new health-based center and how it's going to really emphasize health, not mental and physical health for our families in the area. So that's a really big thing. So definitely a big clap and high five for them. And it's starting to wear out. So maybe Chris put the whammy on me.
I feel like I need one as well.
We gotta
Perhaps
get
a
you one.
coordinating one, a gold one.
Yes, exactly. We got to work on that. We'll get you one.
Next month. Maybe a little branded one, a little cat chat one.
We'll get the executive producers to get to working right on that. Give him something to do for once.
That executive producer.
Our last highlight high five.
We got two more.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Come
We got
on,
two
Ron.
more. I'm jumping ahead. Math was never my strong suit, Jenna. Sorry. Our next highlight high five goes out to Coach Mo Douglas, who just finished his bachelor's degree at the University of Kentucky.
Nice.
He had a little bit of time in between, but the perseverance of Coach Douglas, and I'm sure he preaches that to his players and to the community about sticking with it, and he did the exact same thing and walked across that stage and got his degree. So we're really excited about that as he is really setting that example with all of the students and also his football players. So, Coach, congratulations.
High five.
High five.
All right. And our last high five really goes out to all of the students who took their exams in December, took assessments in December. December can be a long month. Grueling.
Very long. Yes.
I know that it can feel very tiring, but we are in a new month, a new year. So really make this your time. Some of you are entering your last semester of high school. So this is really your time to shine, your time to push through. Make this your year. Make this your time to finish strong and achieve all of the goals that you want to. So your high five goes out to all of the students and staff at the Springfield City School District in 2024.
2024. Congratulations. Make the work happen.
Ron, you just finished your first high five.
I know.
Like a seasoned pro.
Like a seasoned pro. But again, I've been watching from afar, so I'm picking all this up. So let's make this the last time, too.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, we still have the best is yet to come, honestly, because we have, honestly, what I would consider an all-star lineup today for our show.
For sure.
We have Corinna Jackson, our Do the Right Thing winner from last year. She's a freshman at SHS.
A very talented freshman at SHS.
Yes, very well-spoken. She's going to be our Cat Den Happenings guest speaker for today. We have Miss Caitlin Tyler from the Greater Springfield Partnership. And we have Thomas Edwards as our featured alumni guest for today.
Yeah, this is one of the strongest lineups we've had. We've had some really good people come through, but this is one of our strongest ones. And I know they're going to get just better as we move along, too. So, yeah. I'm excited
absolutely.
about that.
Well, let's get it rolling with Cat Den Happenings. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cat Chat. On today's Cat Den Happenings, I have a very special guest with me today. This is Corinna Jackson, freshman at Springfield High School and the winner of the Do the Right Thing Challenge for 2022-2023. And Do the Right Thing is a national writing competition here in Ohio that's sponsored by Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. And this is really all about really encouraging kids to express themselves through writing, talk about solutions to ending violence. So here in Springfield, we are currently in our fourth year of that competition, and Corinna actually helped to kick off our competition this year with our middle schoolers. So Corinna, I really want to first go back to when you were doing this competition in your 8th grade year. This is something that's really special to our middle schoolers. Obviously a big ask to say to 7th and 8th graders, hey, what can we do to stop violence? So put yourself back in those shoes for a second. When this was first presented to you, what was kind of going through your head and what really made you take it seriously?
Well, I had just moved here, so I didn't know the area very well yet. And so I just thought, well, what if I, talk about the violence that I've experienced in my life before I had moved here? And I really thought about it and I was like, wow, I'm not the only one who's experienced this. And it was just really like heartbreaking because a lot of my friends were crying when they were riding. They were so upset to have to re bring it up. And it didn't take me long to write my essay. I knew exactly what I wanted to write about. And violence is something I think about a lot and just how to change it. So I had a lot to say on the matter. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't difficult for me to do, but it definitely brought up some feelings.
It brings up so many emotions for me as an adult to hear you say all of those things, right? I mean, in one way, I'm proud to hear you say, yes, I wanted to take this seriously. I wanted to talk about this topic, but it also really breaks my heart to hear you say that I experienced all of these things. Because I don't want to hear, all of these young kids say that, yeah, this is prevalent. Yeah, this is an issue. Um, Tell me about, if you wouldn't mind sharing, tell me about some of the things that you wrote about in your essay.
Well, I wrote about my dad and, how that affected me because, when I was younger, I had to get protected from him and, it was a lot of kind of hiding away and, staying indoors. And I wrote about there was a shooting in my apartment complex before I moved here. And my mom was out of the house at the time and she couldn't get in from the street because she had gone down to Dollar General and they had everything blocked off and I was trying to call her because I was asleep when it happened and my best friend lived in the same apartment complex. I just heard it going off and then she started calling me and I was just trying to figure out what was going on. And they ran past my window and I was like, oh, because I never experienced that before. So I was really like my first time experiencing gun violence and it really took a toll on that. And, my mom wasn't there, so I had to explain to her. But we never really got to talk about what happened. So then after she read my essay, she was like, well, let's talk about it. And then eventually she was like, oh, well, I never realized, you felt that way about it. So.
Mm. Corinna, what is the conversation like, or is there a conversation among kids about violence, or is that something that's just kind of accepted? Do kids talk about it?
Honestly, no. I feel like it goes really untalked about, and I feel like it should be talked about more because I know we're all experiencing the same thing here. And so I feel like yeah, it's just unsaid, to be honest.
So again, when in your eighth grade year, you're presented, with this opportunity, did it kind of take you by surprise that I guess somebody in this position, the Ohio Attorney General, wanted to hear from you all?
Yeah, it took me by surprise, like completely, because nobody ever asks kids, how they feel or to talk about it. They just kind of shush them away, and, they're like, okay, well, they're kids, they don't know what they're talking about. So it was really nice to understand that, like, an adult actually wanted to hear what you had to say and that we're actually being paid attention to.
So, for those who are unfamiliar, the kids will go through this competition, and we'll start with all of the middle schoolers in the Springfield City School District. They'll go through a couple rounds of competition, and then we'll get down to a top 10, and then eventually we'll get down to a top two. And Corinna was one of our finalists. She went to Washington, D.C. What was that experience like for you going to Washington, D.C., attending the National Do the Right Thing conference?
That was amazing, and it was so nice to see like other kids from the country around the world, the country, knowing that they had experienced the same things, and getting to talk with them and figure out how we could lessen the violence. And they put the kids in Ohio and like all the different states. They grouped them up, and they went to see each of their senators from each state, and they got to talk about how they could lessen the violence. We went to see, some of the senates here in Ohio, but they were all gone, so we got to talk to their assistants. They weren't fully prepared, so it would have been nice if they like really knew that we were coming and had planned ahead for them to actually be there, but we did still, I feel like, get to say a lot of ideas and converse
Mhm.
amongst ourselves to figure that out.
What were some of the things that you shared with them?
I felt like there shouldn't be as easy access to guns. I feel like if we didn't have easy access to them, there would be a lot less violence because in other countries, they don't have access to guns and there's so much less crime and their rates are so much further down than ours are.
What else did you experience while you were in Washington, D.C.?
We went on a lot of tours. We went on bus tours and we went touring and we walked a lot and it was really hot. It was great. But overall, just experiencing the scenery and getting to finally talk to other people who had experienced the same things I had experienced was amazing overall. And we did conventions and we kind of prepared ourselves to go talk to these higher ups, and we went and had dinner at the ambassador of Kuwait's house. She was amazing.
Nice.
Beautiful architecture. And we gave us our awards, and she acknowledged that we were, going unheard, and it was honestly awesome.
Had you ever been to Washington before?
I went before I moved here. I went with my 8th grade class.
Okay. Probably seeing some of Washington that you hadn't seen.
Yes.
That's
Definitely.
incredible. So for all of the top 10 winners from Springfield City School District, their essays go in a book that goes into the Library of Congress, which is part of that final celebration. So going back to, that final moment, and you're going back through and reading some of your classmates' essays, what was that feeling like for you?
It was disheartening. It was sad knowing that these people that I'm in a room with every day and, new people that I'm meeting, you would never know that that's something they go through because they don't talk about it. You don't see it on their face. But just knowing that, like, they've been through there, and you can't really just talk about it with them because it makes it really awkward. But just, like, looking at them and knowing, oh, like, they've been through this or this happened to them or their family member is really, really sad. It makes you kind of look at them a little different, like, oh, maybe I should be nicer to that person. Maybe I should be a bit kinder, when in reality you should have been kinder to them in the first place. So I noticed that amongst a lot of the students. They realized, maybe I need to be better than I already was.
Oh, absolutely. I think even as adults, as we kind of watch this competition unfold, it's a good reminder to all of us that everybody comes with their own background and their own story. And as you walk past people on the street, you don't know what someone has been through. And a lot of the times they experience the same things that you have. And you just don't know that about someone all the time. So, as we kind of said at the beginning of the segment, you helped us to kick off our Do the Right Thing challenge for this school year. You came around to our assemblies. What was, the main message that you wanted to get across to the kids this year as they start their challenge?
That, you really got to channel all of your energy into it. You have to take your time and really know what you want to talk about. You can't just write it in a few minutes. You really need to focus on it. And, when you're doing that, talk to your peers. Figure out what are they writing about, what's really triggering for them when they're doing it.
How have you seen 8th grade Corinna grow from that person who started to where you are now in your journey?
Well, I'm a lot less shy now. That's a definite guarantee. And I found that I'm a lot kinder to everybody in general. I feel like I had a lot of pent-up anger last year with the moving and all the sudden changes. But now that I've gotten more immersed in the community, I definitely feel a lot kinder, and I'm always smiling, so that's really nice.
Do you feel like this competition and this challenge, is an overall benefit for kids in our district?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's really life-changing, to be honest. This is something I'll talk about for the rest of my life.
Corinna, anything else that you want to share with our audience?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Corinna, as always, it has been such a pleasure to talk with you and just hear more about your background and your experience. Thank you so much for coming on Cat Chat today.
Thank you for having me. It was amazing.
Thank you. All right, we'll be right back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Cat Chat, everybody. For our featured alumni segment, I am very happy to welcome our guest, Thomas Edwards, from the Springfield High School class of 2021. He's a new alumni. Thomas, I think a lot of people know you from so many of your accomplishments just in the last few years. Thomas is a student at Columbia University in New York. And maybe most exciting, you are now creating TikToks. You're a content producer for the Empire State Building in New York.
Yes, it's a dream job. It's super, super fun. And I love New York. I love Columbia University, and not as much, though, as I love Springfield High School, because I feel like this just kind of set me up for all of that.
Thomas, how does one go from Springfield High School graduate to where you are now in such a short period of time? Tell me how it happened.
It was a big change, really big change, going from, Springfield High and just Springfield in general. It's such a close-knit community, and I feel like there's a general sense that everybody kind of knows everybody. You show up in a restaurant and you'll see a familiar face. That is not the situation going to New York City at all. And one of the greatest things about Columbia is the kids are just from everywhere. It's one of the most diverse schools when it comes to international students in the country. So my freshman roommate was from Albania, and I have a lot of friends from just countries all around the world and states. So with that, everyone at the school is feeling the same type of like out of place situation. And we're all kind of looking for that sense of home, which made it really easy to make friends because we're all like living together. We all want someone to experience the city with. And Columbia's orientation made it really fun because we just went everywhere in a week. But then you jump right into Columbia, and it is an Ivy. And it has like a heavy workload, especially for freshmen. We have this like traditional core curriculum that we have to read these really iconic books like the Iliad and the Odyssey and just some more complex texts. And it's a lot of workload for freshmen to kind of hit us running. And with that, I kind of was in the city spending money and was like, maybe I should get a job because the city's a lot more expensive than Springfield. So I was on TikTok, as I always am, and a video came up for the Empire State Building. My now boss Tyler was like, hey, we're looking for someone to make TikToks for us. And I commented something like, this would be great for me. I'm in college, help me pay for college and everything. And he DM'd me the application, did the application, sent them. I was a film student at Columbia, and I'm a film student here. So I made a lot of stuff with Tyner and Murphy and doing a lot of video projects for Springfield High. So I sent them all of my Springfield High videos, and 3 interviews later got the job, which was crazy. So I started pretty immediately. I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary there. So I started first semester freshman year. They took a chance on the 18-year-old transplant who had no idea what he was doing, but I quickly learned the ropes. Started making a couple videos a week, testing it out, and then I pitched to my boss with my other coworker. We both went up to my boss like, let's be in the videos, let's be in the TikToks. So then when celebrities come to visit, we can do content with them, make it more interactive. And he's like, let's try it out, let's do it. And then 5 months later, we threw the first pitch at the Mets game. So like it just shot up in popularity.
Yep.
Since then we've done a lot of pretty amazing things with some pretty amazing people.
Yep,
So,
I've seen y'all featured on the New York Post.
yes, yeah.
And every time I go back to the page, I mean, it's not uncommon for your videos to have hundreds of thousands of likes. Just the content on there. First of all, it's hilarious.
Thank you.
But second of all, like all of these familiar faces just pop up, and it's not uncommon, right? Like
Yeah.
I saw Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yes.
I saw Jimmy Fallon. Like you guys are interacting with all of these, major celebrities. What has that been like for you to come across these people in your day-to-day life?
Oh yeah, it's everyone that I've met has been genuinely very nice people, which I think is just, as someone who never interacted with celebrities before, you kind of nervous, what they're going to be like. They've all been very, very great to work with, which is always very fun. And then people like Jimmy Fallon, and it always stands on my mind, the Backstreet Boys too. They were very, very like willing to make fun videos. Like they were excited to make videos with me. I've had a couple already know our content too when they show up, so that's kind of cool to walk in the room and Jimmy Fallon says like, oh, like I love your videos. That's a really cool moment.
Recognizable.
Yeah, it's cool. And it really just made me like relit my passion for like wanting to be part of that industry, because that's why I moved to New York was to make movies, to do something in entertainment. That's what I really enjoy. And this job just showed me that like, yes, I love the the PR, the press, the paparazzi, just like that type of rush. I really enjoy, and I think that meeting all those people just kind of relit that passion for me.
And you talked about it a little bit, but go back to your base and some of the things that you picked up in your days at Springfield High, in those film classes, in those multimedia classes, and tying it back to where you are now, how that helped you.
I think that's one of the star elements of Springfield High School is their English curriculum. Like, I just think it's fantastic. And I think I was a full AP IB student, so I did the whole IB program. So I worked very closely with Miss Herring and Miss Beaster, and I think something that they taught me was storytelling. You know, how can you tell a story? What elements can you use to tell that story? And then when I paired that with the visual techniques I was learning in IB art with Mr. Murphy and the digital media classes with Tyner, it was just kind of like merging those two concepts. It's like, how do I have this story, this character? How do I develop that? And then, like what camera, what film technique, how to edit, that came from the digital media classes. So they blended so well together to give me a great foundation on that's what I want to do with my life, but also just kind of how to tackle a project like that.
Sure.
Yeah, and then going to college, the workload of the IB curriculum really prepared me for the Ivy League workload. And actually, one of the books, The Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison, which is my favorite book, amazing. We read in Beaster's class, and that's on the curriculum at Columbia. So like that was really awesome to see a book that I've already read in high school on this Ivy League established curriculum that they talk about.
Absolutely. Tell me about, what has been one of your favorite memories in your current job working at the Empire State Building. So far, what's one thing that you are going to look back on and, at your time there? I know you have so much more to come, but what is one of your best memories so far working there?
One of my favorite memories was probably I'm a big fan of Kelsey Ballerini as just a musician. I love her music. She came on my 1 year anniversary and I got to give her a tour, and she sat me down. We have a special room for them to go to. We sat down and she just gave me life advice for about a half hour. And it was like enjoy your youth. Like, I know you're working really hard, but just slow down. And like hearing that advice at that time was exactly what I needed, and I don't think like I'll ever forget that. And then I think this one's a little cliche, but I think the first time that I went to the very top is like life changing, because we get to go to the 103rd floor, which is the exclusive A-lister section of the building, and it's at the very top of the spire. So you have your building spire, and the 103rd floor is an open air observatory deck all the way up there. And going up there for the first time is just like breathtaking, and I'll never forget that.
Oh, I can't even imagine. There has to be so many different sites that you just have to be there in person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. Go to New York. Everyone go to New York and visit the Empire State Building.
Absolutely. Oh, well, and follow you, right?
Yeah, follow at Empire State Building on TikTok.
Thomas, in the age that we are in, when so many kids are on TikTok and seeing what you can do to make it a profession, what is the difference from just watching the videos and even creating like the silly videos with your friends? What's the catalyst that takes it from that to, I could make this a job and I can make this real and I can make real money?
I think a lot of it's drive and commitment, because I feel like there is kind of this idea out there that influencers don't really work that hard, and I've working in the field and interacting with a lot of them, it is a very time consuming occupation, and it takes a lot more dedication than I think people give credit for, because not only do you have to shoot and edit and post and figure out the times for your audience and all of that kind of stuff and your analytics, but you have to make something that's never been seen before. And in the age that we are now, it's so hard to come up with ideas that haven't been done, because that's the challenge of being an artist in general, is finding how to tell a story that's never been told but in a new and engaging way. And with the evolution of TikTok, the attention spans of people are just falling. So it's how can you grab their attention in a 30-second video and tell a whole story at once and keep them there. I think that's the challenge, and to accomplish that, it takes drive and commitment. I think that's the difference between if you really want to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. Thomas, what do you say to the kids who are coming up now, even in the short time that you've been out of school? What would you say to yourself that you have learned?
Yeah.
What do you say? What knowledge have you gained?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned over this whole thing is to just do it. Like, if you think that you're going to regret not doing it, just do it. Take the risk. Like, get on the plane, go to New York, go to the college that you've always wanted to go to. Try the thing on the menu that looks weird, but you want to try it. Do something. Like, do it. Because the regret is, you don't want that. You don't want to regret not doing it. So for me, I think out of everything I've learned is just to jump and take that risk, because it could be the greatest reward that you've ever had.
Thomas, the last thing, I kind of want to wrap up with you is um, tell me where you go from here. Tell me what some of your plans are.
Yeah, so I'm trying not to plan too far ahead because so much has changed in the last 2 years.
Hmm.
So who knows what the next 2 years are going to be. But I see myself staying in New York after graduation. The Empire State Building, they've been absolutely fantastic to work with. So I could see myself, working there after I graduate. But I also see myself telling stories as a filmmaker. That's where I'm studying. So I would love to see where that goes. I really am enjoying screenwriting right now, kind of finding new ways to tell those stories. So as long as I'm going into that industry, I'm going to be satisfied.
Love it. Thomas, thank you so much for being here today.
This was awesome.
I always enjoy talking with you and just keeping up with your journey and where you are going. You make Springfield City School District very proud to have you as an alumni. So I really look forward to keeping up with you and seeing what is next on Thomas Edwards' journey.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
All right. We'll be right back with more Cat Chat.
All right, welcome back to Cat Chats. We are here with Caitlin Tyler with the Greater Springfield Partnership, and she is representing our Community Connection segment of today. Caitlin, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, again, thank you for joining us today on Cat Chat.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to just talking all things community today.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing over at the Greater Springfield Partnership.
So I am the Talent and Education Coordinator, which is a fancy way for saying I get to connect the business community and the education community and kind of crash those two worlds together. And do everything from resume workshops to internships to you name it, we do it. So it's pretty exciting.
Wonderful. How long have you been with the Greater Springfield Partnership?
Just a little bit over a year.
Oh, okay.
So I tell everybody I'm still new in my role and I'm going to use that for a little bit longer.
Well, as long as you can, right?
Yeah,
As long as you
absolutely.
can. So tell us a little bit about what that entails, like your day-to-day operational piece there with your office.
So day to day looks a little bit different, which is also why I love my position. I work with all of the area high schools and middle schools. So if you can imagine, that keeps us pretty busy. And every school is different. Everybody's needs are different, which is great. So we get to do a lot of different things for different people. Resume workshops, interview workshops. Like I said, we run an internship program and just really connecting students to the community and seeing what great jobs we have here in Springfield.
So this an internship program you talked about there. So give us a little bit more about what that entails.
It's really amazing. It's our third year of doing it. So it's summer internships for high school students. There's 2 requirements. They have to be 16 and they have to go to a school here in Clark County. And then they work with our local businesses. So our businesses are paying students to intern with them for the summer, anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. It gives them great experience, and we're using U Science. I think your school is very familiar with that, to help connect students and make sure that we're putting them in programming that matches their aptitude and their interest.
So we'll come back to the U Science piece in a little bit, but
Sure.
more about the internship. So what type of internships are available for students?
We have everything from medical to engineering to construction. We really try to hit all 16 nationally recognized career clusters so that all students have an opportunity to explore those careers and see, again, what we have in Clark County. We notice that over 50% of our workforce leaves every day to work outside of our county. So we're really trying to flip that and make sure our students realize, again, there's great things here in Clark County for them to do.
Wonderful. What about your the business partners? How excited are they about working with our students in the area?
They're getting more excited. We have a couple companies who kind of are our cheerleaders and are really getting out there and telling our community, like, hey, high schoolers are amazing. They can do great work. And if you get in there at the ground level, you're able to build your workforce. Again, that's kind of a big thing right now is workforce and the lack thereof that. So really helping our business community to get into our schools, to meet our students, and for them to see that, again, we have great potential right here in Clark County.
Excellent, excellent. So you mentioned U Science.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that all about there? What's the U Science?
So it is, nobody cringe, it's an aptitude test, but it's all game-based. So it's not what your normal, do you like to paint walls? Do you like to build buildings? It's really game-based. So our students are not only looking at aptitude, but interest. And then by the time they are done taking that U Science test, they're able to look at it and see what career clusters match their aptitude, their interest, or both. And so really it's looking at it in a deeper level and not just saying like, okay, they have an interest in I don't know, marine biology. It's saying like they have a high aptitude for that, and then we're able to help them navigate that career path a little bit better.
So you said it was a test. So how much studying do I have to do for this test?
Zero studying. So, which is great. Like I said, it's all game based. It's about, for the high schooler, it's about 10 different games, anywhere from 5 minutes to, I think, 11 or 12 minutes. They can take breaks in between, so there's no need to rush and get it all done in one day. But it really does help them realize, what they're good at and give them that story to tell. Because I think a lot of times our students are like, well, A, I don't know what I want to do. B, I don't want to go to college. And C, I don't think I'm good at anything. And U-Science really answers all three of those questions for them.
So you mentioned aptitude and what was the interest was the
Yeah.
other piece there. So tell me a little bit more about that. So how does a student navigate that, or who works with them to figure those type of things out?
So the cool thing about U-Science is our office pays for all of our schools to take U-Science or to use the U-Science tool, which is amazing. And so for the student, it really is just connecting with their counselor or whoever their champion of U-Science is at that school. And then the school gives them access to take U-Science. Majority of our schools are doing a middle school version, and they get in the high school level. And so students can just take the test, like again, can take 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, and then deep dive into those results after. It says 24 hours, but a lot of our students are getting the results within a couple hours of taking the test.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when they're finished up with the test, you mentioned they work with their counselor.
Yeah.
And then what is that process after that? Is the information shared with anyone else at that time?
So that's up to each individual school. The student obviously has direct access to that. We do not, because it's student record, so I can't go in and see any of those results unless the student wants to meet and share that information with us. For the internship program, I do meet with the students one-on-one, and part of that is taking U-Science and looking at those results in order to match them to a company, just to make sure that it's a best fit for not only the company but the student. But past that, again, the schools work with the students, the counselors can look at that information. Our hope is that they sit down with them and really go through those results, because it's one thing to have the information, but it's a completely another thing to be able to interpret that information and know what it means for that individual student and not just as a whole. So our hope is that students are getting sat down with individually or even in small groups to look at that information.
Wonderful. Now I have a little understanding of U-Science.
Yeah.
So I believe there is a middle school version also,
There
correct?
is. There is.
So the middle school students that may take that, what end goal may they have for finding out their results of their aptitude and their interest at such a quote-unquote early age?
So middle school version is a little bit less intensive than a high school version. It gives them an overview of their aptitude and their interests, gives them an overview of career clusters, but doesn't go as in-depth as their high school version. Our office runs an 8th grade career expo, and so our hope is that the students are taking that before they come to the career event, and they're able to talk to the employers in the area that matches those career clusters as well. So it kind of just opens the door for them to explore different careers, explore different pathways, and then hopefully when they take it again as a high schooler and finish it out, then they have a better, clear understanding of where they're headed.
And I'm sorry, you may have mentioned this, but when is the expo again?
It is going to be in April this year.
April this
Yes.
year. Okay. How many employers, and are they all local employers that are normally there?
All local employers. We had, I think, around 30 last year, and we kind of max out. So again, if you're an employer and you're wanting to get into that, let us know, because it is an amazing event. It's all hands-on for our students. But it is indoor and outdoor at the Hollenbeck, and students have, whatever time frame. I think it's about an hour, maybe about a half hour inside, half hour outside to explore all those careers.
Excellent. Yeah, I was there last year, and it's pretty fun to watch the not only the Springfield City School District, right?
Yes.
They have the county
Yes.
schools are also there,
Yeah.
also. So that seems to be a lot more energy in the building when all the students are there and exploring the different career options.
It's quite a lot of energy. That's a great way to say that. But our employers love it. They're very engaged, and they like to see our students engage in all of our school districts. Springfield City has been there multiple years. We've done it, I think this is year 11 or 12.
Wow.
And so they've been an integral part of moving that forward and making sure our students are connected to Clark County.
Good deal. Anything else exciting happening with the Greater Springfield Partnership you want to share with us?
We're always doing something over there. We're always working on the next project, always working on things downtown, always working on things in the county and the city. So it's always a moving moving progress, which is great for us. Again, we're working on the internship program, so that kicks off for us January 8th when the application opens, and it's really hit the ground and running from there. So keep us involved in what's going on and keep looking at our websites to see what's coming up next.
Wonderful. Do you want to share the website?
Sure. We have a couple different ones. So if you're looking for a job in the area, you can look at clarkcounty.jobs. We pull from the Ohio Means Jobs website for you to see exactly what's going on in Clark County and hone in on those jobs here. And then you can go to Visit Greater Springfield, which is another just kind of what's going on in the area, what events are coming up. And then our Greater Springfield Partnership page is another one that kind of gives an overview of all the entities that are housed within the Greater Springfield Partnership.
Excellent. All right. Caitlin, it's been great to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
And we appreciate you. And if there's anything else that we can do as far as the district goes or working with the chamber, just let us know.
Definitely. And keep us involved and keep us updated on whatever your needs are as well.
Will do. All right. Well, we'll be back in a minute with more Cat Chat.
Well, that is a wrap for another episode of Cat Chat. Ron, what'd you think of today?
Well, Jenna, the guests and you were amazing.
Ron, give yourself some credit.
Your co-host was just at best, but it was exciting.
I thought you killed it, Ron.
Well, thank you very much. I had a great time. It was wonderful to be here, being able to listen to all of our community partners and what they brought to it, our students, talking about Do the Right Thing, and also the alumni base. It was a great time to be here today.
So does this mean that we can count on you to start a Cat Chat TikTok?
I'm going to work on that right away. I promise. In the next 15, 20 years, you'll see the old man on the front porch starting his TikTok.
I was
Get
really
off my
hoping-
front lawn.
I was hoping Thomas would get you in a TikTok before he
I'm
left.
telling you, that was not going to happen, but it's exciting to see the work he's doing and what the possibilities for our students are out there. He's setting not only the bar high for himself, but I think he's also introducing a career field that some people never knew was out there. So that makes it pretty exciting.
Right. And in such a short time, too.
Most definitely.
So, and actually, the thing that is interesting about Thomas, and he didn't mention this, was Thomas is actually an open enrolled Springfield City School District student. So Thomas went to Ridgewood Middle School for middle school. And then he open enrolled at Springfield City School District for high school, strictly because of the IB program.
Oh, wonderful.
So he sought us out. And, you heard him speak a little bit about what he took away from this district and kind of how it helped propel him to where he is now. And so I think he is a really cool story of a success for us.
It's an amazing story. I mean, to hear him talk about where he's at now, and also just his really excitement about his teachers that he had while he was in school too, and all the accomplishments that he's got now is based off of what they've taught him while he was in school. So yeah, that was really exciting to hear.
Well, Ron, I think that's all we have for today.
That's all we have.
So
are you sure? Maybe
unless
do
you have
another
a
hour and a half
surprise
left
for us.
Oh no, me leaving, that's the best surprise right now.
Goodness. Listen, if you all want to see Ron, I'm going to need a message, okay? Remember, you can always email us, podcast@scsdoh.org. Don't forget about those high five highlights. Drop me a direct message on Instagram. And we have to thank all of our guests today because they were phenomenal. Thank you to Thomas Edwards. Thank you to Caitlin Tyler. And thank you to Corinna Jackson. We could not put on this show without the willingness of all of our wonderful, wonderful guests.
They did an amazing job. And again, thank you, Jenna, for carrying me along this entire time there. So I definitely appreciate that. But looking forward to what we have in store for the next podcast and those and beyond.
Absolutely. Well, we will see all of you again next month. See you later.
Bye-bye. Happy 2024.
Happy 2024.